Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Blockheads, where in this episode, I'm going to teach you guys how to build a decentralized Venmo app I like to call Dcash. Guys, I want to put out this challenge to you as well. Make a better version of this application. I want to see your versions. Hit me up on Discord, hit me up on my email. Let me know what you guys come up with. I'd love to feature it in one of my videos. But with that, guys, let's jump right in and get started making Dcash. Okay everyone, so I'm going to start this application by running create near app in my Dcash folder. So you can guys go to any directory you want, just go to the directory you're choosing and write npx create near app. Let's do -s front end is equal to React with the name Dcash. There we go. So that's going to build up and create the template for our decentralized application using an assembly script smart contract, or the assembly script language for our smart contract. So now we have our application set up. So let's do ls cd into Dcash, so change directory into Dcash. Hit ls again. Type in the word yarn. If you haven't installed yarn already, go ahead and install the yarn package manager because you're definitely going to need it for this tutorial. After that, you can run yarn start. Okay, cool. We have this demo application showing. So now let's go into our Dcash app. Let's go into our source folder, go into app.js. Let's bring this over here. That's what we're going to be building. So now I have the split screen mode here. We can see the application appearing right here. Let's go ahead and delete everything here. Essentially everything like just past this first curly brace onwards. Just hit delete and then add another curly brace to close it. We're going to add return, the return statement, and just say div. Let's just say hello world. There we go. So let's go to global.css and just take everything here and delete it as well. Hit save. You should see this thing turn white. It looks good. Now let's set up React Bootstrap. So we got rid of all of our starting material, got rid of all that starting code. It's fine. Now let's go to React Bootstrap's website. Go to get started. Do npm install React Bootstrap. Then hit Control-C to stop the local development server. Hit Command-V if you're on Mac to, oops, that was not right. I should copy this. There we go. Okay, so paste in that like copied line of code, hit enter, and go to import CSS and just toss this at the very top of the app.js page. So go back to app.js. Go right below here where it says import global.css and just paste this line in and hit save. Afterwards, head into the React Bootstrap's website and just type in Nav Bar. That's the first thing we're going to create. Let's see. So let's just take which Nav Bar? Let's just take this first one. Or shoot, where is it? Okay. Yeah, let's take this first one here. I think that one's okay. Sorry, I'm like forgetting which one I chose. Yeah, okay, let's just take this first one and toss it in here. So where it says return, add the parentheses, add react.fragment for now. We're gonna change this later. And hit paste, and hit save. And below your CSS import, let's just make a whole new section called Bootstrap components and bring in import a few things. So let's import a few things just to get started. So we have first import a container, or use this later, a row, a nav, and nav bar, and a card. So we're gonna use all these elements later. Hit save, and then import from React Bootstrap. So with all this in place, we're gonna restart our server. So we're gonna say yarn start again. If you're confused on like how to do this, like we simply have a script here called start in our package.json file. And this essentially runs all the commands needed to start our development server. So you guys can go ahead and read that if you like to in the package.json file. Heading back to the app page. And as soon as we get this like local development server running, we should see in like 1 minute. We're getting an error, which is fine. Let's see what we didn't import. We should import nav dropdown as well. We're not gonna be using that, so we're gonna get rid of that in a minute, but it's good just to see it. So nav dropdown. Okay, so now we have our nav bar. You know, it's like it collapses, which is nice. So if I expand it, you can see like all this appear here. You know, so that looks pretty good, right? So that looks pretty good. So we're gonna like delete a lot of this, like a lot of it, and then just like rewrite it to kind of like well to make it look like what we want. Something I'm going to import here real quick is from Figma. So I'm gonna go over to Figma just to have this in place and ready to go. And for you guys, it'll be just like a simple PNG download. I'm gonna upload this image to Imager for you guys to download. Let's see, I think it's called this one. Oops. Let me just open up a Chrome browser. Okay, let's go to Figma. Go to you. And we're going to import this whole Dcache symbol. So for me, I'm just going to download it. For you guys, I'm going to have it as a download for you. So look in the description for that if you guys want to know where you can get it. So I'm going to bring this here, bring this back up here. Sorry, this is some Mac magic. All I'm doing, all this is for is just to bring in this image of this logo so I can use it for later. So I'm going to take this image and drag it over to assets and rename it dcache.svg. That's fine. Let's bring this out here, bring this back up here, bring you over here, and there we go. Okay, so now we're going to actually import over that image. Call this, yeah, let's have the components last. So let's call this images, import logo from /asset/dcache.svg. So where it says React Bootstrap, I'm just going to call in that image. So call in image source is equal to curly brace, and then we're gonna call it logo. Hit save, and we get the Dcache logo right there. So looking pretty swanky, looking pretty cool. Made that logo custom for you guys. So it's my own thing. We still have quite a bit to fix here. So we're gonna get rid of like a few items here. So we're gonna get rid of U2. Let's get rid of this entire nav dropdown thing because we don't really need it. We actually have to add this little line of code here. So I'll add it right after the brand. Yeah, right after the brand, just above the toggle line. Or just below it. I'm sorry, just below it. So right below where it says navbar.collapse, I'm going to paste in this line called me auto with like nothing in it. So I think that should move everything to the right if I'm correct. Oh yeah, there's nothing in there. So let's add something in there actually. So we add 2 links. So the first link is going to be nav.link. And then going to be called transactions. And this next line will be nav.link. It's called login. So hopefully we should get these 2 cool little buttons. Let's get rid of this other ME auto below it. And there we go. Okay. So I guess we had one ME auto there already, but that's fine. So that ME auto just adds that spacing here. So you guys probably didn't even have to delete it, but it's fine. But but now we can see this, but like without ME auto, if I were to delete this line, right? It just moves everything over here, which, you know, I don't really want. So I'm going to keep this here to include that cool spacing. So now, you know, we have to actually add some functionality to this nav bar to make it like, to allow for users to be able to log in and log out of this application. So in the first tag of nav link, in the first nav link, where I have login, I'm going to add on click. So once we click, it's an event listener. So like once we click this button, something will happen where I say window.wallet connection. There we go. Window.wallet connection is signed in, right? So this just returns a Boolean to check if the user is currently logged in or logged out. Log out. And I'm going to explain where all this comes from in a minute. So just kind of bear with me. So now where we actually type this placeholder called login, we're going to type in a curly brace, right? And say window.wallet connection.is signed in. Oh, that's misspelled. Okay, so signed in, that should have an N there, not sig. SIG. Oh gosh, yeah, sorry. Misspelled this twice, didn't I? Like, wait, what's from? SIGN, there you go, signed in, parentheses. So if this is true, right, if we are signed in, display the username, so window.account ID. Otherwise, display the word login. So let's just make this little, there we go. So what we should see here is either my account that I'm logged in with, right? Or if I hit again when I'm signed out. Oh, this is weird. I've never seen this happen before. Log out. If you are signed in, then log out. If we're not signed in, then log in. Okay, so why are you screaming at me? Oh, put this as a string. Sorry, make this second login a string. So because if it's a string, then it returns this, right? Returns this actual string that says login. So where's this come from, right? Where's window.wallet connection is signed in even come from? And where does window.account ID get defined, right? I'm sure you guys are wondering that. I'm sure you guys are wondering where you even got that from, or where these logout and login functions even come from as well. So like all this must have been like a total mystery to you. So up here we have login and logout import from utils.js. So right over here, this file is where all this even comes from. So we have our login and logout function made for us thanks to create near apps. That's where those two come from. And we have our window in the same file. We have our window.wallet connection defined here as part of the setup to get connected to the near blockchain setup. We also have window.account ID set up as well to return the string of the user that's currently signed in. So it's all nice and nice and set up for us. We don't even have to worry about those aspects of it, of like retrieving the account ID, retrieving the login status. So that's just all nice and set up for us. So back to our app.js page. We don't have too much more to do for this like login page, except for actually establishing the links with React Router. We're gonna do that next. But we can see that we have our login page set up. If we click login, we can log into our application. I hit allow. It adds function call keys to the application, allowing for use of this application within your blockchain, and so on and so forth. And yeah, we can even see our username signed in. So good job, guys. That's how you create the nav bar for Dcash. We even have our cool little logo to go with it. So next step for this application is to actually build out the body of the application. But we're going to have to get a few things set up for that to work. So let's go over to React Router. So React Router. Go to Quick Start. Copy this line here where it says npm install React Router DOM. Hit copy. Hit Control-C to stop the development server. Hit Command-V to paste in that line. Hit enter. Gonna lay out every single thing I'm doing to make sure you guys get all the steps. Afterwards, copy everything here. Copy this line here, just this line, where it says this import statement. Copy that, go up to the top of the page. Just below where it says breach track components, type in React Router components as a comment. or sorry, let's just say React Router tools. There we go. Hit paste, hit save. And where we have the React fragment line, just replace all that with router. So router. I won't go into too much detail about what React Router is doing, other than that fact that like it allows us to change pages and mount different components as we build them instead of staying all within like the same component, or instead of having to go through a whole new separate web page. It's really nice. It's really fun. So below Nav Bar, back to our application, we're gonna do yarn start again, and while that's going, we can still continue on. So below Nav Bar, we're gonna bring in a container, or put in some logic here. So like essentially like what we want to do is like create an instance where like the user is not logged in, prompting them to then log in or create a near wallet. Otherwise, if they are logged in, then we'd actually want to show the application. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have our curly braces for some JSX. We're gonna type in window.wallet connection.is signed in, parentheses, question mark. So if they're signed in, so this would be like one giant curly brace. So if they're signed in, we're gonna display first this row, which will have, capital R. Remember to include this little question mark here. This is just a different way of writing conditional statements, if you're not familiar with it. I think it's called ternary or tertiary, but I think it's called ternary conditional statements. It's just a different way of like writing if-else statements. If you prefer to write if-else statements, you're more than welcome to. So inside this like first row, we're gonna say switch. So switch is gonna allow us to change our page or change which route we're on. And in this first route, it will be this thing called money memo. So again, that's capital R. Sorry, I don't know why I keep missing the capital thing. So route. So we're gonna call this placeholder money memo. I think that's, yeah, money memo. And then like, let's see, on this next route, you'll have our transactions page. So transactions. And we're still not exactly done here. So we have our if statement, right? Question mark, then like all of this, right? So we're gonna have to, so to define our else statement, we have our little colon here to describe or to denote our else statement. We're gonna say row. We're gonna call for a card. Inside the card, we're gonna type in card.body. Inside the card body, we're just gonna type in a card title saying to the user, please sign in. And hit save. I have Prettier installed, so I think it just like automatically formats everything nice and neat. If you guys don't have that, I definitely recommend getting it. It's very useful. And I'm kind of lazy, so I like I like things that make it easier for me. You can log out now, and we get this cool little sign here telling us to please sign in. Again, that comes from the card, which is imported from React Bootstrap. Right here, right? So if you guys haven't done that, be sure to do that. So we have our card title saying to please sign in. Once we do log in, we can see our placeholders appear. And just to kind of keep moving forward, if I want to actually denote like where this route's going to go, I have to type in exact path. So exact just like lets React Router to know lets React Router know that you have to exactly type in the path just like this, meaning the path has to be just a / with nothing past it. Reason why that's important is because if I do exact path is equal to / transactions, what React Router is going to actually do, it's going to look for anything that includes this / and think that it's just going to refer to the first thing that included that /. So like if I were to type in a / here, right, it'll lead me to money memo. If I were to type in / transactions, because I misspelled it, transactions. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Just because I misspelled that. So we have our switch statement. We have our placeholders, money memo, and / transactions. If I go up to my nav bar, I can type in href equals / transactions. And where it says transactions here. And for the logo itself, I can just get rid of this hashtag home and just type in / transactions, or just / by itself. So now if I go to my nav bar and click on transactions, I should see transactions. If I hit this, I should see money memo. So there we go. We have React Router set up. And we have we have our login conditional statement set up as well, or login logic set up. Under source, let's create a folder called components. Inside components, let's create a file called moneymemo.js. Hit enter. I have this cool little like React snippets tool. Well, it's called React.js snippets, I think it is. So I just type in rcsp and it fills out this cool little template for me. Otherwise, you can copy this down and get ready for a function component or functional component. So let's take money memo, go back to app.js. Let's go underneath React Router tools and just create a new section under our comment section called components. So import money memo from components / money memo. Kind of love that autofills that right now, or now. That's really cool. Where we have our money memo placeholder, replace this with some cool little carrots, and inside those carrots just type in money memo. Just like this. So after that, just type in hello, hit save. And we should see this appear here as because it needs something to appear. Let's see. Inside of money memo, we're gonna bring in a few things. So not too many things, but a few things. We're gonna bring in some React Bootstrap components. So let's type in React Bootstrap. And then we're gonna bring in a card. Actually call import card button form from React Bootstrap. Hit save. And inside a return statement, we're gonna replace these with parentheses. So let's do parentheses first. And just start typing in. So just type in card. Inside of the card, we're gonna have card.body. And inside of card body, we're gonna get a card.title. Inside the title, we're gonna say send near. Yeah, send near. And below that, we're going to call a form. So form is from React Bootstrap as well. So if you go to React Bootstrap's website, you can type in form to see how they have all this set up. If you're curious, their documentation is awesome. So literally, here's the code you need to create this up here. You can change this in real time to say I don't know, just call this name, right? You can even type in there. I think it's really cool. I think they did a great job with this website. It's awesome. Anyway, back to the application. That's just if you're curious and where this form is even coming from. So form, then form.group. And inside form.group, we're gonna have another thing called form.label. Inside this label, it will be a recipient. So let's just save this as we go so you can see what's actually happening. So we have our send near recipient. Inside form.group, we're going to add a few more things. Just call this class name. It's equal to mb-3. And just leave it as that for now. Underneath form label, we're gonna have form.control. Inside form.control, we're going to, it's at the first tag of form.control, we're gonna call a ref, and call this ref recipient field. Actually, before I even do that, I'll save that for later so you guys can see what's actually happening. But inside of here, we are gonna call in a placeholder and say this placeholder will be example.testnet. So if you're wondering what all this is for, it's literally just to make this input field with this placeholder being example.testnet, describing what the user should type in for the recipient field. So we're gonna move on to the next form group. So form.group. So that recipient name that in that input field is all one group. We're gonna have form.label. And then the label will be amount. Then we'll have form.control with the placeholder being enter near value. So that's the value of near you're sending to your friend. You're gonna hit save. And then create another form group. Form.group. Inside this form group, we're gonna have another form label. So it's kind of repetitive, right? But hopefully you can kind of see the flow here. So form.label, call this one memo field. And underneath memo field, we're gonna have form.control with a placeholder of write something cool. So just type in write something cool, hit save. And because this is our actual memo field where the user is going to type in their memo, we're going to add some rows to that. So we're going to say, well, first type in as is equal to text area. Cool. And then after that, we're going to say rows is equal to 1 curly brace, then add the number 5. So that's going to make that entire memo field a little bit bigger for us. After this like form closing tag, we're going to just call button, add a variant equal to primary for the coloring. That literally just changes the color for it. And then call and type in send near as contents for that button. What I kind of want to do is just add some spacing between the button and the top in that top row. So just add let's just call the style tag. Add 2 curly braces, type in margin top, and just type in single quotes 3 VH. I think 3 VH would be fine. So there we go. Above like all this stuff, above the return statement, we're going to first import where it says React. We're going to import use ref from React, and right where this memo function opens up, we're going to have 3 references. So we're going to say const memo field is equal to use ref, empty quotation marks, then const near field. We're going to say use ref, empty quotation marks. After that, we're going to have recipient field. And make that first R lowercase, that's my bad. There we go. Use ref. So these would be our references, our way to then be able to, we're using these to then be able to pull information out of these input fields. So we can pull the text out of these input fields using these references. So go to form.control, and where it says, where we have our placeholder as example.testnet, type in ref in the first opening tag, and just type in recipient field. So like ref is equal to curly brace recipient field. At control, I'm sorry, the next control field where it says enter near value, type in ref and type in near field. Last but not least, for the memo field, we're going to type in ref is equal to memo field. So now we have a way of actually being able to query all these different fields. And just because it's kind of bugging me, inside this first card statement, just type in style is equal to margin top, so we can add some spacing above the card itself. There we go. So I hate when things are like touching the nav bar for some reason. It just kind of bugs me. So now all that's left is to actually add some functionality to this button. We can make a placeholder thing here for now because we're gonna have to write a good amount of code to get the smart contract up and running. And I want to create this button full after we have the smart contract right now. But submit button. But we can at least like write something to show you guys how this will all look, right? So we can get like the kind of like the text filter out of the way. So like the user is gonna be required to type something in here, right? So we need them to write something, or else this memo is not gonna go through. Because like, what good is it just to have like a bunch of numbers saying like, you know, like at some point you might have sent like 5 near, but we don't know to who or for what, like what use is that, right? So yeah, anyway, let's just like get that like logic, that like text filtering out of the way to look for like an empty field or all white spaces, and make sure the user types something in the memo field. So let's create this function called submit button is equal to parentheses async. It's going to be an asynchronous function because when we actually do write our smart contract code, all of this will have to be asynchronous to be able to make our smart contract calls. Let's say let's create this variable called this variable before checking text was written in field and not just white spaces. So that's what this next line is for. So here we're gonna say let is there text is equal to memo field dot current. So it creates it. So this useRef creates an object called current, which contains all the information of the thing you're referencing. We're gonna get value. So value is gonna return the exact value is gonna return simply a string of that input field. Not value of, but just value. Gosh, I hate when you that. Yeah, there we go. And we can start to like autocorrect to value of, but it should just be value. Value match. So we're using a match statement, which calls some regex. It's regular expressions. So essentially we're looking for what we want is something from A to Z, like all capitalized, or A to Z lowercase, or from 0 to 9. Like we don't even care if they just put numbers. We just want to put something. But like what we don't want is like just white spaces, right? So that's what this looks for. It looks for any other text that isn't a white space. I mean, we could also put in like things for like special characters too, but I think like it's more important if they have like letters and numbers other than special characters. But I'll leave that up to you guys if you guys want to include special characters or not. After that, we're gonna say if is there text is equal to null, right? We're gonna return this like sassy statement saying console.log. Actually, let's make this an alert. Yeah, alert. Alert. I think you're missing the point of the memo. I mean, what's an app if it's not... What fun is an app if it's not a little bit sassy? Else console.log, because I don't really see if they did something right. You wrote something cool. So we're gonna hit save. And inside this else statement, that's where all of our contract code is going to be. So past this is like we're going to be able to let's see, write the code, or save memo to blockchain, We're also going to be able to send near tokens using near send near tokens, yeah. And yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah, so there we go. Okay. So we have this cool little function that checks if something was actually written in this memo field. If there was text written in the memo field, it'll like then proceed to send or save the memo to the blockchain. And if nothing was written at all, it will just simply return. Let's see, it should return this error. So let's see if this actually works, right? Did I save it?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh my gosh, I hate Siri sometimes. Oh yeah, that's right. We have to actually make this button like you actually have to attach this function to this button or else it's not going to work. So type in onClick is equal to single curly brace and the name of the function. Hit save. If we hit this button now, we should get this error saying, I think you're missing the point of the memo. Right? I mean, that's not really useful to the user. Like the user should be like, we should also say like, you need to type something in it. So we hit that, we get this full message, right? If we do type something, we should open up the console and just get, you wrote something cool, and then like all this other stuff happens. So yeah, great job guys. Next up is just actually writing the smart contract code, and or we can even get like our transactions like page step and stuff to do that. But let's move on to the smart contract next. Okay gang, time to write the smart contract. So head on over to contract folder, or the contract folder, and then go to assembly and then index.ts. Take everything you see here and then just delete it. Get rid of it all. Type in import context logging, not storage, but persistent map. God, I can't spell today for some reason. Okay. Persistent map U128 and contract promise batch, all from the near SDKs. So a few interesting things here. Just want to point out a few of these. So this persistent map is actually one of our collection tools, meaning that like it creates kind of like a data structure that mimics a key value pair storage type. So in other words, you have some key as a string and then some value of like a variety of data types to pair to go with it. Like we store it on the blockchain. U128 is interesting. This should be a lowercase u, by the way. So that's what's giving me that little error. There we go. U128 is interesting because like JavaScript by itself, I don't know if TypeScript can, but like JavaScript cannot store very number values that have a value greater than like I think it's like U64. It's like not that huge. I don't think like JavaScript actually has a U128 data type. So your SDK can like create that. So you import values in as strings, and then like it can be like exported as like U128. And then like this contract promise batch has a whole variety of tools, but the one we're interested in is the actual one that like lets you transfer money. So I'm gonna go to my next line here. Const memos is equal to new persistent map string, comma, string, bracket, memos. So that'll be like the data type that's going to hold our memos per user. And then this is essentially saying like this first line is saying the key is going to be a value string. This is going to be a string array. So that's what this little brackets are for, to define a string array. And this prefix is to make it unique so that it it exists so that like there are no data collisions. So if you have two persistent maps with the same prefix, then we may run into issues. So we want to make sure those are unique for the contract that's deployed onto an account. So we have another one saying, actually, I don't think I should use this one. So let's just stick with this memos line and keep going from here. Export function, add memo. Okay. So add memo, receiver, string, comma memo, string, and price will also be a string. And add a colon between memo and string here. And this is going to return nothing. It's a void. Logging log, adding memo. So a logging log will just behave in the same way as console.log. So that's all that's doing. So if this persistent map contains the key context.sender, so I'm going to go through a lot here. Context.sender is like just returns the string of the account that's calling this smart contract function. In other words, it's going to return the account of the user that's signed in that presses that button. So it's just a string here. That's all it is. So this could just be blockheads.testnet or example12345.testnet. So if the string contains the key of contains the name of the person that's currently signed into the application that's calling this function, then we're going to store the existing memos that's attached to that key, because like if it exists, we already know that it has some set of memos to go along with it. So let's just go into a new line saying let sender memos equal to memos.getSome context.sender. So we're pulling that existing list of memos from the blockchain and storing it into this temporary variable called sender memos. And we're going to say sender memos.push. We're going to add the newest memo. That's what this is from our parameters. Plus 2, so 2 receiver. For price. So memos.set. So after we push the latest memo, which will also tack on the receiver's name and then the amount of near tokens that we sent to that receiver in that memo. You can even add something to kind of separate that. We're going to push that memo to this to the total amount of memos that is currently paired with the user, and then just set that onto the blockchain. So set context.sender memos, right? So now we're just updating that list of memos. So hopefully not too bad. I know that probably might have seemed like a lot, but in other words, we're first checking if like this user has a list of memos already existing on the blockchain. If he or she does, then we're going to get that existing array, add this latest memo to that existing array, and then update that existing array on the blockchain itself. That's what this memos.set's for. Else, if this user has never sent a memo before in their life, then we're going to say memos.set context.sender array, because we're supposed to only push arrays of strings onto the blockchain, and then we're just going to copy this entire line here, memo plus all this stuff, copy that, and put that inside of the array. So this is called a change function, right? It's a change function. And that's important to note because we're changing the state of the blockchain. We're changing or updating some information on the blockchain, which also incurs a fee. So keep that in mind. Any change function we make has to go into this change function array. And I just replaced the existing one there because we don't really need these two demo methods. So save that, go back. We're gonna add our first view, our first view method now. where we are just going to retrieve that list of memos. So export function get memos. User will be defined by some string, and we're going to return an array of strings. So view methods don't cost anything. They just read information from the blockchain. That's it. They don't cost anything to call a view method. So no fee with that one. So if the memo contains a user, then return that user's array of memos. Otherwise, we're going to say to the users that logging log, no memos were found for this user, and then return an empty bracket. If we just have this one if statement, we don't return anything, we're gonna get this error because they're saying like, okay, but like what happens if like, this isn't true? You still have to return something. So return an empty array. Take the name of that view method and go over to utils.js and toss it into here. Back to the contract, we have one more function to go. This is actually how we send money using assembly script code using in near it. So we're gonna say export function transfer near tokens. Account string amount U128, returning nothing. And we're gonna say contract batch dot create account of the user we want to send this money to. So we're gonna call this account. And then the amount of near we want to transfer in Yocto near. So that's 10 to the 24th near. Keep that in mind. After that, logging log. Success tokens transferred to, then add a plus sign, and then the account name. And that's it. That's our entire smart contract. So now, after you write or make any changes to your smart contract, it's important to rebuild it. Or you have to rebuild it, exactly, because it gets compiled to WASM, and WASM is the actual code that gets like, a WASM file is the actual code that gets like uploaded and stored onto the blockchain. So any minor change you create to your smart contract, you have to run yarn build or the TypeScript build command to then be able to recompile it to WASM. And then you can run yarn start from when that's all over. But yeah, once you get the successful build command, this is how you know, this line here is like how you know like when the contract's successfully built out and when it's done building. So now it's just starting the browser, and it'll just start a new instance of the browser here. And we can even open up our inspection tool and type in contract, because its contract name has been saved to the window object. Contract, and then the name of a method. So let's just say get memos, right? So get memos. Add the wait to this because it's asynchronous. Then hit enter. Let's see, get memos. Did I say that? Let's see, utils.js. Should have saved. Oh, I typed in get momos.
No, Momo. Water. Water. How many times do I have to tell you, Momo? We need water. Water. Oh, forget it.
Like Avatar. Contract get memos. Oh, we need the name of the user as well. So await. Let's just type in to curly braces, because you have to. So when you're calling a function that has parameters in your smart contract, you have to send your smart contract in object instance. So we're gonna say users, and the parameter of the object instance has to be the same as the one you typed here. So it's just user here. So user blockhead.testnet, for example. And then you get an empty array, right? Because there's no memos found for that user because I haven't stored one yet. So that's how we know it works. Good job, guys. That is the smart contract for Dcache. Okay, everyone, this is the last feature to our application. And once we have this done, you have a functioning decentralized Venmo application. This is also the easiest feature that we have in this application. So we're gonna breeze through this one real fast. So first thing we're gonna do is call const memos, change memos. We're making a state variable, so we have to import use state from React. So let's go ahead and do that. So import two things actually. There we go. Use state and use effect from React. Then we're also going to import a container, a row, a column, not a column, and a card from React Bootstrap. There we go. And sorry, no parentheses here. Don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why I changed this to in-memory signer. That's weird. Just call this memos. Okay, there. Memory signer. Okay, I can see what I did there. Go to app.js. Go to components and import transactions from components.transactions, and go over to our placeholder for transactions and just replace that with the component that we just imported. Hit save, go back to transactions. Then after that, underneath use state. So I'm sorry, inside this use state parentheses, just add an empty array. So that's going to be the array that our function is going to be able to map through to display all of our memos. So just to show you guys what it looks like real quick before we even pull information from the blockchain, add some parentheses in place of the div that exists there. And then type in container and open a curly brace for some JSX and type in memos dot map two parentheses. Okay, so two parentheses, and inside here we're going to type in a callback function with the parameters being an x and an I, and x being for each element in the array, and I being for the index of that element. So we can change x to L, so just for element, make it easier. Then return, so returning right away a row with a style of, row style of, just add some styling real quick, a margin that has 3 VH. Then underneath that, just type in a key is equal to the index. That's just so we don't get an error because it's going to cry if you don't. Add a class name of d-flex and justify content center. So that's going to center everything in this row for us. Conclude that row. Inside these row tags, type in card and type in card.title. Inside this title, hopefully you can see this. There you go. Inside this title, we're going to type in transaction, so transaction space number sign, and then the index we made earlier. That's just going to be like transaction 1 or transaction 2. Then below that title, we're going to actually take in the elements of that array and display and put them on display. So that element is just going to be a string, right? So we're retrieving an array of strings from the blockchain and then displaying all these strings onto our page here. So let's go back here, hit save. go over to your transaction button, just hit transactions like that. So right now we should see nothing, which is good. If I go back to use state and just type in Dorian paid Dorian for tacos, paid Dorian for tacos. So if we can see that, yeah, paid Dorian for tacos. We hit save. X is not defined. Oops, it should be L. Sorry, element. You can see transaction 0, paid Dorian for tacos. If I add another note here, again, this is an array of strings. Paid Bobby for propane.
I live in the real world where men sell propane and propane accessories. One looks like a propane tank too. And you know what those little ones over there look like?
Propane accessories?
Yes, but which one?
I'm going to drain all the blood out of your body. Then I'm going to replace my blood with your non-rabid blood, which will both cure me and give me all your knowledge of propane and propane accessories.
Hopefully you guys get that reference. I was watching a bunch of King of the Hill recently, so don't judge me. We can see this cool array of cards appearing here. So remember, we made that cool nifty function from our block in our smart contract to give us an array of strings just like this, right? So let's get rid of these two placeholders and use our use effect to retrieve that information from the blockchain asynchronously. So we're going to create a callback function. And next to the ending brace of that callback function, we're going to just type in a comma with an empty array. So signaling that this use effect is only going to run once. We're going to create a function inside this use effect called getInfo. Equals async. This is an asynchronous function. Asynchronous functions have to be a separate...
I didn't get that.
Sorry. Sorry about that. Siri's mad at me. Asynchronous functions have to be created as like a separate function inside of useEffect or outside of it. But like you can't just type in the code you want directly into... You can't do this. You can't just say async right here, or else it screams at you and gives you an error. Which is why you have to like write it like this. It's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. So we're gonna say let user memos equal to await window.contract.get memos. And then after that, the parameter will be user, and then the parameter value would be window.account ID, which is the name of the person that's currently signed in to the application. After that, we're gonna simply take that value and say change memos to user memos. So that's gonna set that array of strings we get from the blockchain to this value here, which is then gonna display onto this page. So hit save, hopefully we should see this work. Who doesn't have a memo sent? Let's see. So obviously we have something wrong here. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Sorry. After you conclude that, you actually have to call this function. You have to call getInfo. So call it inside of useEffect, just like this. Hit save. Get memos is not a function. Did I name that wrong? Copy. Go to use effect. Oh, wow. I don't know. Okay, you see this? I honestly have no idea why when I type in window.contracts, it autofills to this. That's super annoying to SVG component like, no. It's just window.contract.get memos. And there we go. Okay, so yeah, we have 2 hellos for 2 blockheads for 3 near. If I go back to our transactions, go back to the home page, just actually make this full screen so we can see it in all its glory. Type in blockhead.testnet. You guys don't have to type this in unless you want to send my testnet account more near. If you do, I'll give you a shout out. Why not? It's fake near. Don't send this account real near. Test tokens. In fact, I'm gonna say don't send me anything. Type in 5. Type in sending blockhead.testnet test tokens. Just want to reiterate that. These are test tokens. Okay, and then hit send. Okay, adding memo. We get this cool little prompt saying money sent, saying okay. Let's go back to our transactions. And then we can see sending blockhead.testnet test tokens to blockhead.testnet for 5, which we can even add the word near to that so it's not confusing as to like 5 what. So 5, let's just say near, and then near. So I'm adding that to that smart contract on, I think, like lines 11 and 14. And that's it. Yeah, that's our full-on decentralized Venmo application that we like to call Dcash. Awesome. Great work, guys. Hey guys, sorry if I look like death right now. Between making the assets for this video and going on vacation, and now I contracted COVID, unfortunately. But thankfully, I had the vaccine, so I'm feeling, already starting to feel better, feeling stronger. So I'm really thankful for that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys did, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and if you make a better version of this account application or any of the other applications we make in our tutorial videos, send it my way via the Discord channel. You can find me in Discord, and we can make a really cool community video together. So send me your version of Dcash or your version of any of these applications, and let's just make an awesome Blockheads video together showing off what you guys create. I think it'll be beautiful. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Got it?